What's up guys, it's Oblivious Gamer here, and well, today I just wanted to talk a bit about Under Night In-Birth 2, or, well, the full title is Under Night In-Birth 2 Celes, a fighting game that if you bought the deluxe edition is already out for you. However, the game has a global release of January 24th, same for PC. Now, sadly, PC doesn't have the option to get the early access. Sucks a bit, but it's a bit not unexpected with French bread. Now, what I wanted to talk about is, I think overall, this is a fantastic game to get. Now, the Under Night franchise has been going on for quite some time. The original game was, of course, Under Night In-Birth, which came out back in 2012. So this franchise has over 12 years of history. There's been multiple versions of Under Night In-Birth. The final revision was Under Night In-Birth EXE Late CL-R, otherwise called Uniclair, and the final version I think was released like 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Now, comparing to Street Fighter 6, the upcoming Tekken 8, or the Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, you might find yourself that it's a bit simplistic in terms of the content there is, because Under Night In-Birth 2 doesn't have a massive lobby to go around and interact with other players. The quote-unquote story mode is your basic arcade mode where you pick a character, and after certain fights you would get like some dialogue, learn a bit about the character, and get to the ending. And that's kinda it. That's not them trying to diminish the game. For me, I think the package is fine because there's a lot of stuff to consider from the team of Under Night, which is why I think one shouldn't be as harsh to them. French Bread is not a big company, so I still think and advocate that this is a game that you should definitely give it a shot and try it. French Bread is a small team. Of course, with the package, that affects the pricing. Nowadays, as you probably have realized, a lot of modern games are going $69.99. As an example, in the case of Tekken 8, an upcoming fighting game, it's gonna cost $69.99, and then if you want the version that includes the season pass, it is $99. Under Night In-Birth is actually $49.99. So Unit 2 is $49.99, and there's a deluxe edition, but that's a version that gives you early access and voice announcers, which is $59.99. The game does have a season pass, however, it comes for free. So everybody who purchased the game from now until March 31st, if I'm not mistaken, if you purchase the game in between that time, you will get the season pass for free, which will include 3 new characters. So just by buying any version of the game, you're getting a season pass with 3 new characters. I think that's a fantastic deal for what we have, and you don't have to buy the game now. You can actually wait. You can wait and see how people are reacting to the game, see videos, see matches, hell, maybe go to a friend's house or, go to your local and try the game, and then be like, okay, I might get in, and you can still get the season pass. I think that's really cool of them, and I'm not too surprised. I mean, with Melty Blood, they kind of have like a deal where like every character was free for DLC with French Bread, so they tend to be really nice in that area. Now, of course, as I said, the single player aspect is a bit more normal of what we expect in traditional fighting games compared to what we're getting now with some modern fighting games. That story mode is much more bigger, more production. There's a lot more stuff. There's also more content. So this is more a traditional fighting game that you will get with arcade mode, training mode, versus mode, network, and that's it. Now, the game does a fantastic job with training mode. So the training mode is a bit verbose when it comes to the tutorial to be able to learn the game and also learn some basic aspects of fighting games. So I think that's pretty nice. It does a good job of teaching you the game. There's also mission mode, which kind of gives you an idea of combos and gives you an idea what to do with each character. the game did add a fantastic tool, which also Tekken 8 has this tool, but not many fighting games have it. So as far as I'm aware, Tekken 8 and Under Night 2 are the only games that have this tool. Basically, you can check a replay and control. So like you're looking at the replay and you can control a character. So if you have a match and you're struggling against a opponent, you can look at the replay back when the match is over and test your stuff out. Let's say your opponent is doing a specific move that for some reason it's just you're like, what can I do against this? So you can go to the replay and take control of the character and try different things and see what would work in that moment. So you're able to replay it and control. However, not just that, you can control both characters. For example, let's say you have a friend, because you can also download the replays of your friend. Your friend is struggling, your friend tells you, hey, I just struggled in my recent match. You go to the reply board, you download it, and you can be like, hey, I have a suggestion for you, you can do this. And then you show him, like you can control his character, be like, hey, you can do this. Like, I think it's a fantastic tool that will be very helpful for a lot of players, especially players that are in the intermediate aspect. You know, I feel maybe for people that are more versed in the game, it's going to be a much more useful tool, but it's definitely something fantastic to have. The other thing that the game has, which I think is fantastic, which I already commented in a previous video, is the fact that you have the option to select where you want the game to start. So when you load up the game, you press start, you're shown like the start menu, and then you press start, and then you go into the main menu. With Under Night In-Birth 2, you can actually select what you want to load. So you can immediately load in network mode, you can immediately load in training mode, you can immediately load in the main menu without having to like watch the opening, press start, all that kind of thing. So I think that's fantastic. That's more options and more choices. Now, there is one sad thing. The game does not have crossplay. So this is a game that of course will have rollback netcode, a must for every fighting game in current day. Every fighting game is doing rollback netcode. Of course, Under Night In-Birth 2 has rollback netcode, fantastic. It does a good job. People are happy because I think like Fighters also, but Fighters is supposed to get rollback. So Eunice was kind of like the only game no rollback, but they finally have rollback. However, there's no crossplay. It sucks, and I feel it's a bit of a sad thing because I think for fighting games, crossplay is a fantastic tool to keep the player base alive and connected. Because with fighting games, people sometimes tend to move, or a community tends to move one console or the other. And a lot of times we're seeing, for example, with Under Night, I think PC is where most of the players are going to be. If you're a console player, your pool of players might diminish, while PC might still have some, and the fact that you can't play together diminishes even both player pools. And I think it sucks a bit. We are kind of like in an era where a lot of fighting games are bringing us crossplay. Kamone did explain. Kamone, he is the developer for the game. He explained that the main reason why there's no crossplay is because they don't have the budget. It costs money.
Crossplay is very important. I understand. But make the crossplay. Crossplay is too difficult to add the game and spend the many money. We have no money. クソ英語。
And that's understandable, and him being upfront that like, hey, it's too much money, we just can't afford it. I think like it sucks, no crossplay, but I do appreciate the honesty from his part, and it's understandable. Rollback netcode is not something new. However, it is something new for these Japanese developers. It's just recent that they started to implement. So of course it probably will be costly because they might not have the expertise. When it comes to crossplay, maybe they don't have an individual. Maybe hiring an individual can be costly. The other option is training somebody, but training can also be expensive. And of course, all the budget that it would take to have the entire team focus on this to make it work. Now, there's still hope. I mean, Strive, for example, it eventually added crossplay. So Guilty Gear Strive didn't have crossplay until much further in the game's life. So that doesn't mean that Under Night In-Birth 2 can get crossplay in the future. Maybe once, like, if the game sells well, they could financially be like, okay, we can invest crossplay. Who knows, but I'm hoping for that. But yeah, I think as a fighting game package, there are some basic stuff, but for the price point, how fun this game is. And again, French Bread, it's not a big studio. I think this is a fantastic game, and I think you guys should definitely try it. I mean, it's just $49.99. It's not a bad price compared to other fighting games that you have out there, and it offers a solid package. And like I said, good training mode, good mission mode, and the fact that like you can control your replays and like learn from it is also a fantastic tool. So yeah guys, that's it for me. As always, have you tried Under Night In-Breath 2? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below. This has been Oblivious Gamer, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.